G'day folks, coming to you live from Studio A at WP Elevation headquarters here in the world's most livable city, Melbourne, Australia. Welcome to another episode of Silence is Golden. My name is Troy Dean.
And I'm Simon Kelly.
And on today's show, we're going to be talking about operating in your zone of genius. We're also going to be talking about the fact that Google have launched a pizza brand just to test YouTube ads. And we've got some of our lights back. Due to the fact that we're no longer wearing wireless microphones, we're hardwired in. That and a whole lot more. Plus, Evernote have undertaken what could possibly be the world's most underwhelming rebrand exercise. That and a whole lot more. Stay with us. Plus, on today's show, if you stick around, we might call you on the phone, and if you answer the phone and say, "Hello, Silence is Golden," we might give you $10,000 of cold, hard bullshit. No, I'm kidding. That's not going to happen at all, is it?
I felt
like one of those morning presenters. When I did the intro, I felt like one of those morning presenters.
Yeah.
And I thought we'd run like a silly cash cow competition or something.
The cash train.
We don't have telephones plugged into the studio here, so that's actually just not going to happen.
Yep.
So don't hang out by your telephone waiting for us to call you.
For more false promises from Troy.
Because we're not going to call you at all.
So what's been happening, mate? How
Well, I've been good.
Yeah?
I'm a little bit frustrated at the moment because I'm going to say this publicly.
Yep. Go for it.
I am rebuilding. I'm going to have the world's most overwhelming rebrand exercise as opposed to Evernote, who have, I think, changed 4 pixels on their logo and called it a rebrand. By the way, I know nothing about the whole rebrand exercise at Evernote, so I'm not qualified to comment on this. I'm just an opinionated, self-righteous little twat, really. But I'm actually having a serious rebrand of my website, and I'm trying to rebuild my own website on WordPress right now at the moment.
Yep.
And I'm not stupid. And I actually know how to write code. And it's a freaking pain in the ass. And I'm considering just doing it on Wix.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
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 This episode brought to you by Wix?
This episode brought to you by Square Wix.
Yeah.
I have lost months of my life trying to get shit to work in WordPress. And the reason I'm saying this is because look at the history. Automatic purchased WooCommerce, right, as a way, really, I mean, the only thing I can imagine there is that they want to go up against Shopify or Squarespace for online e-commerce.
Democratizing
e-commerce for the web, right? Matt Mullenweg has talked about the whole reason WordPress started was to democratize publishing on the web, became very popular with bloggers. Then they introduced things like pages and custom post types, and then he was talking about wanting to democratize development and that WordPress would become an application development framework. Now he's wanting to democratize e-commerce by buying WooCommerce. The problem I have is this. The user experience of WordPress compared to something like Squarespace or Wix, they've got a long way to go if they want to catch up to that mass market, consumer end market. Yep. So I feel like they should make a decision either way. Do they want to go after the consumer market or the developer market? I know we talked about this recently on a call. Actually, no, I spoke about this recently with Alex Price from 93 Digital in the UK, and we had exactly the same conversation. I feel like they need to make a decision. Gutenberg is kind of coming, which is designed to make the whole user experience easier on WordPress. But I'm telling you, I'm still trying to get transparent, sticky headers working, and it's a pain in the ass.
So the challenge for you is like setting up the site itself, not so much about managing the content?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the challenge is everything. I mean, it's part of the success of WordPress has been because of the plugin architecture, but that's also part of the problem because there are now all these plugins and the whole thing's held together with sticky tape and a few coat hangers, and it feels like it's going to fall over at any minute.
And it does.
It does. So a little bit frustrated at the moment. Anyway, that's my bitch for the day.
No.
What's been happening in your world?
Worthwhile. Yeah, a lot of things have been happening. I'm going through a course at the moment that goes for 24 days all up, all about NLP.
Yeah, that's
right.
And
it's fascinating.
Are you doing it right now?
Yeah, oh man, before you even got here. Yeah.
Bad chair.
Did a good chair, bad chair exercise.
Bad chair.
Which I haven't figured out yet.
Good chair.
It's killing me.
Bad chair.
Oh, please. I'm getting PTSD. So it's like all pattern detection in yourself and in other people and replication. So it's really fascinating, man. Yeah, so I spent the weekend doing that. So work week and then weekend doing a course. And the learning exercises that we do, you can be in a trance and just laying there and half asleep, and it kind of sinks in as well. So it's pretty cool, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's good fun.
Good stuff. Should we have a look at what's been happening outside the building?
Stuff that happened.
You know what I love? That Max has kind of just been doing this long enough now that I reckon I could say anything, but if it had the right tonality, Max would know to drop in a bumper.
That element cap is bobbing up and down. He knows what's up.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
That's good.
So Google created a fake pizza brand to test strategies for YouTube ads, which is, to me, just a massive promo push, basically. They called it Dr. Fork.
Dr. Fork.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Dr. Frog, which is a great pizza restaurant in Koh Samui in Thailand, which is where we'll be going soon.
Damn, nice segue.
Buddy of mine, Ollie Jones, used to play live music there at Dr. Frog, right up on top of the hill looking over the beach at Koh Samui. But that's got nothing to do with Google's pizza brand called Dr. Fork.
We're going to go check that one out?
Absolutely, we're going to go check it out.
Yeah, awesome.
100% we will, man.
I had some
Best pizza
like coconut rice over there that had cashews and chili in it, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. And that's everything about, YouTube and Google. So some of the key takeaways that they had from it, I'll just read out a couple of these. Immersive multi-sensory experiences drive better recall than single sensory experiences. So like having videos that, show the steam coming off and all the different types of food is much more appealing than not doing that. Separating visual input from text increases recall and favorability, apparently. And edge-to-edge food in the ad, so like really up-close food. So
wow.
That was all about that kind of testing and takeaways. Just really a drive to get more people to advertise on Facebook in the food industry, I'm sure.
Facebook or YouTube?
YouTube is the one.
That's the one. Yeah. Not to be confused with Facebook.
The spelling is different. And it scores differently on the Scrabble board, so that's how you know.
Yes, it does. I really looking forward to the day that someone invents the ability to smell a video.
You keen on that?
Yeah.
That opens
100%.
That's going to open up a lot
I
of
would
doors.
love it if you could smell Silence is Golden.
What would it smell like?
I think it would smell like a combination of highbrow, high-end fine fragrances and flatulence.
Mahogany, caffeine, and flatulence.
Mahogany, caffeine, and flatulence.
Yeah.
The
new tagline.
I don't wear mahogany. Do you wear mahogany?
It's just like people with expensive taste know things about mahogany.
Oh, mahogany.
Yeah,
Does it smell? Do your fragrance smell?
No idea.
Mine are a bit more peppery.
It's just a nice, expensive sounding word.
So a combination of mahogany, pepper, perhaps?
Sure. Pepper.
Yeah.
Pepper?
Pepper. My fragrances are quite peppery.
Little zazz.
Yeah.
A little bit of...
That's right. A little bit of that reaction. A little bit of, a little bit of bite.
Yeah.
Mahogany, pepper, coffee, and flatulence is what Silence is Golden would smell like.
In that order.
So do you think this is a thing? Do you think anyone will ever be able to invent a video smelling thing?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, by describing it right now, hopefully everyone's having these experiences. They're like,
you could just have like
Jesus
a little
Christ.
app on the iPad
and donuts
that somehow
someone says Judith Love
emanated.
I've got to get back to you, Judith.
Smell.
Wow, what a great way to retarget me with getting back to your messaging from yesterday. I will get back to you shortly, Judith. Carrie says smell like hair and concrete.
Hair and concrete. Yes, that's right. Hair product and concrete.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jonathan Holborn just put 3 poos on the comments here on Facebook. Thank you very much for that, Jonathan. I love your work. And Samantha Johnson, who has just joined the Mavericks Club. Woohoo! We're loving your work, Samantha. Says just add to the FOMO, because unfortunately she can't make it to Thailand.
Oh,
just
no.
add to the FOMO. Take a picture of you enjoying that pizza for me. I will do. And... drop the flatulence, Sir Farts a lot, says WP
So it's
Elevation.
WP Elevation.
Sir Farts a lot.
Who could that be?
Now, we should keep going on with the news before I go off on a tangent.
Has that ever stopped you?
No. I just did want to say before we...
Just quickly.
I just did want to say... Before we sort of get too far into this, while people are watching, there's 23 people watching the show right now. I want to capitalise on these eyeballs. I've just got a quick favour to ask. Could you please like this on Facebook? Leave us a comment under the video. Tell us whether or not you're enjoying it. Tell us what you want to learn, or if you just want to have a laugh. Share this with any friends that you know who are digital creatives. It's kind of the new thing that I'm playing around with.
Okay.
If you're a digital creative, we think that you might enjoy this show. So share it with any of your friends. We really want to spread the word and get this show into as many lounge rooms as possible, or iPhones, or small offices as possible. So yeah, so share it with your friends. We'd love it if you could do that. Like us. Look at that. The viewership's just going up right now. Isn't that fantastic?
Thank you.
Like us on Facebook. The counter is working again. Share this with your friends and leave us a comment. Engage in some way.
Yeah, I'm interested to know as well, just while we're on the call to action thing, what do you identify as? Like, do you call yourself a WordPress consultant, a digital marketer, a WordPress developer? What would you identify yourself as? Leave us a comment.
Judith
show.
Love just says, ooh, love digital creative. That's a keeper.
Oh, bam.
All right. Jonathan Holborn says, I'm enjoying this with multiple exclamation marks. Excellent.
Fantastic. So moving back to the what we were going to talk about, and Evernote rebranded, which just looks like they changed the color of their icon, which is just amazing. And they've got a big story and a video and all of this workshop stuff and all of these post-it notes around the rebrand process. So if you are into branding, it is fascinating to go through what they the process that they did, but it also just pointed out a lot of the comments that I saw around this rebrand. A lot of chatter about it is like, well, when are you going to do the improvements to the interface? When are you going to add Markdown? There's all these features in the product that people have been screaming out for. The tools like, you know, Notion and Bear and other things have just jumped in and like capitalized on a bit more. So, you know, what they have created in the changing color department, they're lacking in the product department. So the
changing color department.
That's right. Yeah,
I love it.
It's not the brand.
Not to trivialize the importance
office.
of a good logo, but didn't they just change it from one shade of green to another shade of green?
I bet it's got a name, that green. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, Evernote green.
Yeah. The elephant has a name too. Do you know that?
No. What's the elephant's name?
I should have probably thought about that before.
Do you know why Evernote?
Mads
Madsy.
Mads the elephant.
Madsy
Named
the
after
elephant.
an early Evernote customer and designed by Gabe Campodonico. Sounds like a place you'd go in summer.
Do you know why Evernote use an elephant as their brand mark?
Because it doesn't forget.
That's right, because elephants have good memories.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you know that when an elephant passes away, that they will actually they'll travel to the gravesite multiple times over different years to mourn the loss of the elephant.
Oh, what their friends will, their friends and family.
Yeah,
wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit like human beings, isn't it?
Yeah, except they're elephants, and that's incredible.
It is. Yeah, that is quite remarkable.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the lowdown on Evernote's underwhelming rebrand.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Syed Balkhi from WPBeginner fame and Opt-in Monster fame launched a WordPress-focused growth accelerator fund. Did you catch the news on this one?
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, so the fund will provide, this news comes from WPTavern.com is where I got this one from. Absolutely fantastic blog to be watching, and Jeff Chandler posted this one. The fund will provide between 100 and 500,000 to a small group of selected companies. In addition to the funding, selected companies will be able to take advantage of Awesome Motive's media presence, network of business associates, and receive guidance.
So Awesome Motive is Syed's parent company that own all of his other companies. And this is interesting. Would be curious to see whether he is looking at funding service-based companies or product-based companies. And I'll be interested to see who gets the funding. And I think it's not just about the funding, it's tapping into that network and tapping into the mentorship. It's what they call smart money in the biz. You don't want dumb money. Dumb money is when someone just goes, here's $500,000, off you go. Smart money is where someone goes, here's $500,000 and a whole bunch of mentors that can help you spend it wisely.
Yeah, and the backing of this media presence and this marketing, and we're going to be able to push this idea and make it work.
That's right.
Not just $500 to blow on the next evolution of Facebook and Twitter and YouTube combined.
Beck Waterhouse says, I run a boutique digital agency. In reality, it's just me and my husband. So that's how she identifies, boutique digital agency.
Oh, okay, nice.
I've always thought that boutique was kind of a clever way of saying small.
Okay.
And I don't like boutique. because it says we're small, and if you're small, you may as well just say you're small. We're a small digital agency.
Yeah,
boutique is like trying to hide the fact that there's just a couple of you. Not that there's anything wrong with that, Beck, but I just didn't. We went through this iteration when I had a boutique digital agency, and we just didn't call it a boutique digital agency.
You called it small.
We just called it a digital agency.
Yeah. Just a digital agency, small, big,
digital agency doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Any other news?
No, that's it. We're
cool.
all good there.
So we should maybe help some people answer their questions.
Let's get Unstuck.
See, completely different tone of voice there, but Max still got the fact that the bumper was coming. Saw him move pretty quickly, actually, make sure he was pushing the right buttons, and managed to get the green light in the background. The lights are back. Let me explain why the lights are back before we help you get unstuck. The lights are back because, Jin likes boutique. She says it sounds like extra special care.
Small but flowery.
Small but flowery.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, fair enough. You can have it. The reason the lights are back is because we used to wear, as you might remember, we used to wear lapel mics on our shirts or jumpers, which meant that if I did that, it would have been very unfortunate and you would have been hearing, gudung, gudung, gudung on the microphone. And if I did that, you would have heard on the microphone. And the wireless microphones, just one of them, interfered with the little radio transmitter we've got that sends a signal from our light controlling switch board to the lights. So we haven't got a whole bunch of wires. We're using a little DMX aerial to send that signal up there. But it was interfering with one of the microphones, and so there'd be this constant in the background of every show.
It's pretty accurate.
Which wasn't a lawnmower outside. It was actually one of the microphones being interfered with. Now that we've got these great big cannons in front of us, these new Rode broadcasters that kind of make us sound like we're on the radio, we've ditched the wireless microphones, and we now no longer have that interference problem. So the coloured lights haven't been here for the last few weeks, but they're back, and Max is very happy. In fact, Max bounced in here, literally bounced in here this morning like this. Said, "Hey, Troy, I just figured something out. Now that we're not using the wireless microphones, can we get the lights back?" And I said, "Oh, you're a genius. Yes, we can." And he said, "Great." Because frankly, it's just standing here listening to you two fellas crap on is a bit boring. Give me something to do while you two are here flapping your gums.
Nodding
so Max is
vigorously
happy.
there.
Jonathan Holborn says, "John Doe, a digital agency." I like it. It's a good name.
Chuck Spidell says, "I like using design company."
And Moore Cohen says, "Boutique equals exclusive." Fair enough.
I see.
Or lack of capacity to take on more clients because there's only one of me. Same thing, really. It's okay. It's fine.
Depends on how you skin
It's all
it, huh?
semantics.
Yeah.
Got any questions?
Yeah, I do actually. This
Here we
question
go.
comes from Simon Kelly.
Oh, no.
So last week we talked about the hiring process, preparing your business to hire. And one of the things that you said.
Oh, here we go.
One of the things that you said was about getting someone else to do it, basically, getting your VA to do it.
That's right.
So I did that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah, it's working pretty good so
Well,
far.
there you go, brother.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
So the next part is the part that I'm a bit stuck with is once you do that, is how to not manage both of them now. So have Amy, which is my VA project manager, amazing. Amy, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Amy's mum watches, apparently.
Wow. Hi, Amy's mum.
Yeah.
Actually, that's weird because my wife's name is Amy. Although I don't think my mother-in-law would ever watch this show. But if you did, Sue, hi. Welcome to the show. This is what I do, kind of, sometimes during the day. This is my friend Simon.
Hello. Hi, Sue.
Like television, but on the computer.
In case, hopefully she's figured that out.
Yes.
She's made it this far. So in terms of being able to have the team, manage the team, how can I, what advice can I give to Amy? How can I best support Amy to help make sure things are happening?
So it's a good question. So Michelle recommended Charmaine come and work with us recently.
Right.
And we took that recommendation very seriously because the other person that Michelle recommended come and work with us is her friend Jay, who is our full stack developer, who is a rock star. So we said, well, Michelle's track record of recommendations is pretty good, so let's give Charmaine a go. Turns out Charmaine is awesome. Hi, Charmaine. Hope you're watching. And she's now on board full time. We're kind of slowly onboarding her to become my assistant. We've just given her access to my calendar. Well, actually, Jin, I think, just gave her access to my calendar. She'll eventually be running my emails and scheduling. She's now, when we have an elevation session or a pre-flight call for Mavericks Club and I make a whole bunch of handwritten notes on the workbooks, I just throw that into Slack and Charmaine emails that off to the customer with a bunch of notes and an opportunity to book in for another call. Now, I don't actually spend a lot of time managing Charmaine. In fact, one of the things I first did when Charmaine came on is I had a bit of a panic attack and I was like,
It's a good start.
It's a good start.
Taking notes.
Like, because here's the truth, right?
First step.
So Charmaine was a
attack.
bit nervous when she first started, and she was a bit nervous about getting on Zoom and chatting with me. And I said, that's okay. I'm a bit nervous about getting on Zoom and chatting with you because I don't think I'm a very good manager. I think I'm a good leader, but I don't think I'm a very good manager. And I don't like management much at all. I don't like managing things or
Set
people.
the vision, get excited,
I like
and be like,
leading.
yes!
I
and
like
then
blazing the trail. I like walking into the dark, unknown, and if we fall over, I'll get up and we'll just keep going. But I don't particularly like managing shit because it takes too much grey matter, takes too much brain power. And I like to reserve my brain power for thinking big about strategy and vision, right? So if we are on a hike, for example, and I'm leading the charge and we get to our camping ground and someone's like, oh, well, where are the tents? Did you manage to pack the tents? I'm going to be like, no, of course I didn't manage to pack the tents. We're all grown-ups. Put your big girl undies on and bring your own tent, right? So I
didn't bring those either.
Well, there you go. So here's my short answer to your question is you need to manage someone in your organisation, and you probably should only manage one person, or in fact lead the team and liaise with one person. So if I were you, I would liaise with Amy, who is your assistant, and then I would ask Amy lots of questions like, who is this new person that you've hired? What is their role? What is their role?
The new role is a Shopify developer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does a successful Shopify developer look like in terms of what their job description is? What are their key areas of responsibility? What do successful outcomes look like? What numbers are they responsible for? So, for example, the development team here are responsible for making sure all of our websites are up to date, backed up, secure, and all the plugins are updated and we have backups in the cloud. So if I log into any of our websites on a given Thursday morning, because I think the deadline is lunchtime Monday, if I log into any of our websites anytime during the week and there are a whole bunch of plugins that need updating, I know that someone's not doing their job. However, it's not my job to work out how they do that. It's their job to design their own workflow. And here's the kicker. It's their job to design their own workflow that works for them, fits in with the organisational structure, and document their workflow so that when they go on holidays, someone else can come in and do their job. It's not my job to document how to use Bitbucket and GitHub and version control because, by Lord, if it was my job to document that, A, it would never get done, and B, it wouldn't make sense because I don't know how to do any of that stuff. If I knew how to do that, I would be a full-stack developer.
So it's not about learning and then top-down teaching.
No.
Massive waste of time.
Massive waste of time. And also, you can't be the expert at everything. Right? April Weir said, big girl undies, laugh out loud. I got that from you, April. You're the reason I say big girl undies. Now I use it all the time. My wife's not very happy with the new analogy, but I use it all the time.
It's
time
a good
to
one.
get your big girl undies on. Come on. So your job is not to know everything and write the documentation and teach the team. Your job is to craft the vision, lead the team, and then hire people who are skilled at what they do, and primarily hire people who are of good character, who have some skills, because you can always teach new skills, and then get those people to document their jobs so that they can ultimately be replaced with an understudy if they go on holidays or if they leave the organisation.
I was actually talking to someone the other day who manages a skate shop here in Melbourne, and they were talking about a new hire that they wanted to get on board, and there was two candidates that they were basically tossing up between. One was really passionate about the sport, really passionate about the industry, and was just like, I hope that what my passion speaks for something. And then the other candidate had a lot of retail experience, a lot of working in this kind of industry, but the passion wasn't quite there and the interpersonal skills weren't quite there. So they went with the person who was less skilled, but they're going to enjoy managing and spending more time with, and they can up those skills a lot easier. So they went with them.
100%. Hire character, teach skill. Hey, Krista Wilkins says, that is so helpful. I needed that insight. The big girl undies bit, Krista, or the preparing to hire a team? Not sure, but I'm glad you're finding some of it helpful. Hey, that's kind of a nice little segue into our kind of main topic for this week, isn't it? Shall we have a look at this week's gold nugget?
Time to dig into the gold nugget.
I don't even have to
pretty
speak,
good.
and Max knows when to roll a bumper. That's fantastic, isn't it? So what is the gold nugget this week, mate?
That's a nice segue into what? So this week, it's all about operating in your genius. So how can you be spending more time in your genius? what is your genius? Like we also call it the sweet spot. It's the thing that you do that adds the most value to the business.
That's right.
That you are operating there. It feels fantastic. It's giving great value. You can get into flow nice and easy. So that you want to be spending more time there, right?
100%.
Because if you're not, you won't be enjoying your work, and you're probably not going to get as good results.
I learned this a few years ago from Uncle Frank.
Uncle
Frank Kern. I learned this a few years ago. This is my spin on it. By the way, Krista Wilkins says, having the team document their own process. That's the big insight that she learned. But I learned this from Uncle Frank Kern, where basically he said this: the only clients you want to work with are those clients where you have maximized your chance of hitting a home run. Right?
Yep.
So just let's unpack that for a second. Why? The only clients you want to work with, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what services you're offering, the only clients that you want to work with are those where you are maximizing your own chance of hitting a home run. Why? A, you're going to end up with a very happy client who's probably going to refer more work to you, right? B, you're going to feel good about your work because it's a successful project, right? C, you're going to enjoy yourself because you're doing good work and you're doing the thing that you enjoy doing, yeah? And 4, see what I did there?
The bonus, the marketer's bonus.
ABC 4. Yeah. And 4, do I have to spell everything out? 4 is I don't think there was a 4. So what I did is, at least Max found that funny. What I did is, I reverse engineered that. Said, okay, how do you just make sure you work with clients where you're going to hit a home run? And so the first thing you do is you work out...
Number A
is you work out what you are really good at and what you enjoy doing. Because doing any kind of client services is challenging, and at the best of times is going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. Just like getting like a jab in the arse cheek for like some kind of immunization or something.
Exactly like that.
Just a little,
exactly like
little
that.
Pain in the ass, right? Not like a bamboo shoot, fair up the date, but just like a little needle in the, just a little needle in the cheek. Just a small pain in the ass, right? At the best of times. So you're going to have to get through those challenges and get through that pain when you're doing client services. So you may as well enjoy what you're doing is the point, right?
Yeah.
And you may as well do something.
That's going to happen.
Correct. And you may as well do something that you're good at because you ultimately feel good about doing things that you're good at. So I kind of went back and worked out the sweet spot exercise, which has been around since the Roman Empire. What are we good at? What are we passionate about? Where's the overlap? Then take that and say, well, for me, it's about training and inspiring and educating, right? And so when I'm dealing with client services, it's all about strategy. I'm crap at executing and implementing, right? I've been doing it for too long and I don't want to do that anymore. I'm really good at strategy and kind of thinking big and designing the strategy. So that's kind of my sweet spot, is coming up with a strategy, educating the clients, inspiring them to think big, coming up with a strategy. So then you got to ask, who stands to benefit the most from me working in my sweet spot? Well, unfunded startups with no money, no proven business model, no track record, no audience, no traffic to their website, no email list, and no marketing budget, I can't help them because it's going to cost, upwards of 20 grand to hire me to work on the project. They have no capacity to get a return on that investment, right? So I can't work with them. I work really well with established organizations who have an audience, have a list, have some traffic. I can just pull a few levers and we can hit a home run. So then you go asking, okay, well, where are they? Who are those clients? Who stands to benefit from working with me the most when I'm in my sweet spot? Because I want to spend most of my time in my sweet spot because that's where I have the most fun. And life is too short to do shit that makes you unhappy.
Yeah, exactly. For no money.
For no money, for other people. What was the quote from Maverick's Club? Life is too short to do dumb shit for other people for no money.
100%.
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, with what you were just saying there, one of the challenges I had between going from what I was doing into operating more in my sweet spot was like, do I just get rid of all these projects, but keep the projects you've got, make sure you're getting the revenue that you need for your business, and just make sure you're actively searching out these projects that you're going to enjoy and that you're going to be operating in your sweet spot. So be transitioning yourself over to those. I know a lot of people have got a bit disillusioned. They're like, oh, but this project isn't quite right for me. It's not quite in my sweet spot. I mean, just continue with what you're doing, but just make sure you are focusing on where you want to go and start making the moves to head towards there. So if you just keep working on projects that come in and you say, yes, I can solve this problem, yes, I can work on this, you'll always be reacting to those. You won't be going after the things you really do want to work on.
Correct. What was the quote that we came across recently? I can't remember who it was by, but the quote is, if you don't have a master plan for your life, then you risk falling into other people's plans. And guess what they have planned for you?
Not much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jonathan Holborn says, what do you do when people come to you for implementing the solution they want when you'd rather do the strategy and empowering people to implement? Great question, Jonathan. So the easiest way to overcome that is to use go wide, go deep, my friend. Start asking lots of questions about why they think that solution is right. Why is that strategy correct? You'll find holes in it pretty quickly, unless they're super experienced and super smart and they've been doing it a long time and they know exactly what they want, which is rare. If you start asking questions about their solution, you'll find holes in their strategy. And then if you find holes in their strategy and you make them think about things that they haven't thought about, they're like, huh, you know more about this than I do. What would you suggest? At which point you say, I'm glad you asked. I think I need to get you on a strategy call, otherwise known as a paid discovery session.
Be happy to talk about that.
Correct. You can start paying me to pick my brain.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Mary Beth Tedrick has just tuned in. Mary Beth Tedrick is one of our Mavericks. Hello, Mary Beth. Thank you for tuning in and watching the show. And Chris Badgett from Lifter LMS is also watching. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in.
The thing about some clients with that and coming to the solution themselves is they're trying to, a lot of them are trying to protect themselves by going, it's okay, I'll hire someone, I know what to do, I'm pretty sure, so let's get this nailed down so that when we hire someone, they can just execute. Even if they have no idea, they think they know, so they'll go with that to protect themselves because they have no idea what's going on, so they're worried about it. If they go out into the market saying, we don't know what's happening, we need someone to tell us what to do, that we don't know or trust or have any idea about what's going on, that opens themselves up to a lot of potential issues. So by doing go wide, go deep, by understanding their goals and really caring about what it is that they want to do, that will help to build the connection. It'll help to understand where they actually want to go, and then you can create the strategy to help them get there.
100%.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And one of the things we talked about, we're going to play you a little video in a minute, which is actually a testimonial from one of our Mavericks, because one of the things we talk about a lot in the Mavericks Club is the concept of packaging up what it is you do, your intellectual property, into a product that people can engage with, rather than just having a suite of services that you offer. Yep. And Jonathan, one of the fundamental things is that if they come to you with their own solution and they just want you to execute, then you're basically competing on price and you're competing on an hourly rate because you're a tactician. If you have a product that you can offer them, which includes strategy, and your marketing is good and your marketing is strong, then they're hiring you as a strategist. And that's where you get paid a lot more. So, hey, without further ado, I think, and I have no idea which one Max is going to play, but I think we should just take a look at a testimonial from one of our Mavericks members from our recent event in San Diego.
Well, I came out for the Mavericks Club, and I had some really big questions about my business and what direction I'm heading. And those are some of the things I brought here that I wanted to maybe crowdsource and get solved. One of the things that I've been really working on is mind shift. So I do a lot of personal work on myself. It's constant. I'm reading, I'm learning. But you can only go so far by yourself. You need to be in a room with other people doing the same thing, and together you can really break through some self-imposed limitations, and that's really what this has done for me. This is the second mastermind event that I've been to. I went to one in Philadelphia a couple of years ago, and I was just super nervous, and I felt like I was just the baby in the room, like as far as business was concerned. And I was receiving a lot more than I was giving because I didn't have really a lot to give. And this time I feel like it's very evident that I've grown in my business because now I'm contributing, which is also validating and gives me more confidence to go back out and also give more to my clients. And also the relationships, because you really need people who are on the same page with you, all moving forward. Because a lot of us in our lives, we are working with people that when you start telling them what you do, their eyes glaze over, right? And so that's not the case here. We just, it's so engaging and so powerful to have people who can not only understand what you're saying, but can pour their wisdom into you, because we all have our own strengths, but when you put all those strengths together, I mean, it's explosive. So I am fully engaged in the Mavericks Club. So we're meeting every 2 weeks online. We're meeting again in Thailand. The plane ticket is, I'm already searching for it. And I was just saying I'm gonna have kind of a Mavericks hangover when I leave because it's been so incredible that we can't help but be kind of a letdown when we get home because you know, the relationships that you build are just so incredibly meaningful.
Now, randomly, very interestingly, April Weir, who was featured in that video, is actually watching the show right now. And I had no idea, April, that we were about to play your testimonial. Furthermore, because we haven't figured out our wireless headset pieces yet, I have no idea what you just said.
No idea at all. It would have been great to actually hear that.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, we've got to get, so the next iteration.
To hear the actual testimonial
I
live?
have not. No.
Wow.
I don't hang around while people record testimonials at our live events because it's a bit weird.
You don't tell them what to say?
No, not at all. Not at all. When I'm like standing behind the cameraman going,
yeah.
No, I wasn't there at all. I make myself scarce.
Jen Sikowski's
but
here.
April, thank you very much for giving us that testimonial in San Diego, and I'm sure everything you said was awesome. I just have no idea what you said because I couldn't hear the sound there. We are in the middle of trying to source some wireless headset pieces so that we can hear what's going on there, and part of our plan for that also is to start bringing some of you guys into the show live on Skype so that we can actually have a conversation with you and make it a bit more interactive and make you guys part of the show. So thank you for that. April says, yes, it was really inspirational.
Awesome.
Excellent. And Jen Sikowski is also watching, who is another one of our Mavericks. Hey, Jen, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
The Mavericks call out.
It is. Are we doing that?
Well, you could make something up if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have a bumper for it yet, but let's talk about what made the Wii come out.
What made the Wii come out? I reckon the yellow light.
Yeah, that's right.
Go the yellow light and the trickling sound.
The golden light.
Yeah. What did make the Wii come out? What's been really exciting? Well, like Elementor has been just really, I don't know, every time I use Elementor, I'm just like, oh my God, everything's just getting easier and easier. Building websites is just getting easier and easier. As much as WordPress was giving you the shits, Elementor is just, it's so nice. It's just amazing to build websites. It's just getting easier and easier. So what value can you add to clients? If the building of the website is like, yeah, cool, I can do that in, a couple of hours now. So what value can you add other than, yes, we build websites? So if you're not thinking about that, if you're not thinking strategically, if you're not thinking about what you put on the website, if you're not thinking about helping make your client's phone ring, then you should.
Just a little dovetail to that.
Sure.
And big shout out to Jay Oakey if he happens to be watching, because Jay Oakey, only yesterday, Jay Oakey put me onto another theme that you can use with Elementor. We've been using Astra a fair bit. I've also used GeneratePress and Ocean. Jay Oakey put me onto a theme called Page Builder Framework. I think it's out of Germany. The URL, I think, is just wp-pagebuilderframework.com. Google it, have a look around. It is a theme specifically designed for Elementor or Beaver Builder. So check that out. It is super quick, super fast. There's a premium add-on that you can use for things like custom footers and sticky navigation and all that kind of cool stuff.
Nice.
So that is definitely worth taking for a spin. More Cohen, so there you go, WP Page Builder Framework. Thank you to Jay Oakey for putting me onto that. And Jay Cohen says, putting widgets on a screen isn't building websites.
Putting widgets on a screen isn't building websites. Widgets as in like literally the WordPress widgets? Is that what we're talking
Well, I don't know.
about
I think she's saying just like putting, dragging, dropping boxes on the screen
yeah.
isn't building a website.
Yeah.
She's talking about branding and user experience. Messaging.
100%.
Why are we doing this in the first place? Because the tool is just the tool. It's just the tool. It doesn't really matter what you use. Rhett and Link are all over. You've probably seen them all over the Wix ads on YouTube at the moment. So whenever you Google anything for WordPress on YouTube, it comes up with an ad for Wix, and it's presented by Rhett and Link. They use Wix to build their website. Who cares? The tool doesn't matter.
That's right.
It's the objective. It's why we're doing this. What do we want the customer journey to look like? What do we want their experience to feel like? What do we want them to do? What action do we want them to take as a result of being on our website?
Yeah. The successful result isn't
exactly, says
website
Moore Cohen.
exists. That's not the
right.
success.
No, that's called a vanity exercise or a brochure.
Yeah. Actually, one of my clients, they've got like a bigger global brand, and they just had their website built for $250,000.
Wow, there you go.
And it's you would not be able to tell.
Wow. Jonathan, Carolina Hines also says Envato elements for WordPress themes is good too. You know a little bit more about this than I do. You've had a bit of a chat with Aaron, have you, about this?
Yeah, I'm catching up with tomorrow actually to get a little deeper.
Excellent.
So there's some news coming out related to this, but they've got a plugin in the works and some pretty exciting tools
Can
to
you
help
share
you
the
build
news or
websites
not?
faster. No.
Okay, fine. Well, when you have a meeting with Aaron, can you ask him if they'd be interested in sponsoring the show?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How would you guys feel about that if Envato sponsored Silence is Golden? Let me just say this right now. Doesn't matter if we're not looking for sponsorship. I mean, if it came along, it would be nice, but we're not actively seeking it.
I might be able to get him to sponsor me lunch. I'm going to see if I can start with that.
Oh, I like the way you're thinking big, Simon. That's really ambitious.
Thank you.
Let me just say this, though. If anyone did sponsor the show, one of the preconditions would be that we would still have full editorial control. I still need to be able to wet my pants occasionally and just crack up laughing and try and distract him as much as possible and probably offer no value to you guys during the course of an episode. That is my mission. So it doesn't matter who sponsors us. And in fact, if Envato did sponsor us and I came across one of their products that I thought was a turd, I would absolutely say so, even though they were sponsoring us. So let that just be said. Moore is screaming and vomiting. No, don't want Envato to sponsor us. Courtney Hall says, love Envato. I'm just curious how you guys feel about sponsorship in general. Another thing that we're doing is this shirt that I'm wearing at the moment is made by a company called UNSTUCK. They're based in San Francisco. Actually, I think they're based in New York, but they have a shop in San Francisco.
Yeah, they've got a few shops.
Yeah, and I think it would be
Palms.
neat for the show to be sponsored by UNTUCK. What do you think? I've always wanted a clothing sponsorship.
Yeah.
I think it would make my mum very proud if we had a little screen at the end of the show that said Troy and Simon dressed by UNTUCK from New York.
It'd make Mumsy proud, wouldn't it?
It'd make Mumsy super proud, I reckon. Hi, Mum, if you're watching. How do you guys feel about sponsorship in general? If this show was sponsored, as I said, we're not looking for sponsorship. We don't need sponsorship. Hell yeah, it'd be nice, but we don't need it. But if it was sponsored, how would you feel about sponsorship on the show, and what would it have to look like for you guys to be comfortable with the show being sponsored? Leave us a comment and tell us. That would be an interesting conversation to have, I think.
Prefer not to have, says Brett.
Brink says prefer not to have sponsorship. What if we moved the show to Patreon and we offered subscriptions, and you guys could pay like, $5 a month to be a patron of the show, so that we didn't. I mean, we don't need the money. So forget. That's not what I'm saying.
But you guys should pay anyway.
I'm just exploring options. I'm just exploring options. Jude says, I love it as it is. What if it was exactly as it is, but it just happened to be sponsored, and just at the end of the show it said Silence is Golden, brought to you by some idiots that decided to give us money.
Gatorade the whole time.
Brought to you by Victorian water, fresh water. I don't know.
Beer.
Or brought to you by Road.
Man.
What if it was?
Love to have a beer sponsor.
That would be great. That would
That'd
be very
fantastic.
cool.
My mum would be. Oh, I don't know.
I do have an empty Heineken bottle
proud.
there from when I went to the Heineken. I need to explain this. If I haven't already explained this, I probably have explained this, but if I haven't, here you go. This is a Heineken. Here we go. Let's just put it in focus. This is a empty Heineken bottle, because when I was at WordCamp Europe a few years ago, the guys from Woo Themes we had a day off, and they had their annual party. The entire Woo Themes company was there, and they invited me. I was the only non-Woo Themes employee that joined them on their company party day, and we went to the Heineken brewery in Amsterdam, and we all had a bottle made with our own label, and right down here it says WP Elevation on that bottle of Heineken. That's why I have an empty bottle of Heineken beer. Not sponsored by Heineken. We're not sponsored by Heineken, but that's why I have an empty bottle of Heineken beer on the show. So maybe they want to sponsor us. As I said, we're not looking for sponsorship, but I'm just curious. Chuck Spadell says, only if it's sponsored by Sacha Baron Cohen. You guys did some stuff
His
with
new stuff is absolutely gold.
I haven't seen it. You guys did some stuff with GoDaddy. Is that still going? No, it's not. That was a licensing deal that we did last year, and it ended, and we decided not to renew. Robert Simmons says, I like the Patreon model. Jonathan says, and teeth brushed by Crest. Actually, my teeth are brushed by, I can't remember his name, but there's
Someone
a brand
brushes
of...
your teeth?
Well, I brush them, but the toothpaste is a brand of charcoal toothpaste that I actually bought in Los Angeles. And it's called Mr. Something, I can't remember, but apparently he's the guy that invented toothpaste in a tube. So that's what I use to brush my teeth.
Nice one.
Steve Bentley says,
Just
as long
dropping
as...
brands. Just
as long
see
as-
it. Let's just drop some brands and see what happens, right?
What about Rode microphones? What if the show was sponsored by Rode microphones? That would be pretty cool.
Max is nodding. He's pretty keen on that.
Leah Lovelock says, sponsorship is fine. Most podcasts are sponsored as they should be. These shows aren't free to produce. No,
you're back in the bug.
They're not. Yeah, I know. Steve Bentley says, as long as sponsorship doesn't mean long, boring ads.
Oh, nice one. So short, exciting ads, would that be a reasonable alternative?
What about a long, boring show interjected with short, exciting ads?
Nice. We're the ad, really.
Yeah.
And the show is the short ads. Cool. Automatic. Yeah, right. Nice. Well, next week we have we actually know what we're going to be doing, but we're not going to really tell anyone.
Rubbish.
Not fully. Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
Perfect. Yeah.
Clueless.
Even better. So, in preparation for next week, we do have a special guest that we're going to be bringing on, and we're going to be chatting to.
Oh yes,
Pennies dropping.
I know who you're talking about.
So, and this episode is a bit of prep for that in terms of like spending time in your genius. So, what I want you to do over the next week is be cataloging your time. So I like to use the tool Rescuetime for that, which I didn't segue into at all, but that's fine. Next week, we want to be paying attention to what you want to achieve and getting rid of all the stuff that doesn't matter, okay? So use, pay attention to the time that you're spending and what you're doing in that time. And next week, we'll be chatting to someone who can help you achieve your goals. So really excited to see that.
That's the brand of microphones that we use here.
Just throwing it out there.
They're called Rode. R-O-D-E. They're made in Australia.
Nice.
We have lots of Rode microphones here in the building. We like Rode microphones.
Yeah. Subtle. Like, no one would even know, right?
What? That we're not sponsored by anyone.
No, dropping in sponsorship like that, just the way you slid into it. Well, just folded it into the content beautifully.
I thought it was pretty native.
I'm gonna just jump into that, the old tool that's gonna help us get somewhere quickly. So I'd like to take a look, if I could, Max, at Tool of the Week.
Get ready for Tool of the Week.
What were you holding up there? What was that?
That's an Apple Pencil. Is that the tool
brand?
of the week?
No, it's not. Tool of the week.
Yes, no. This is an Apple.
Rescuetime.
This is an Apple Pencil made by Apple.
So Rescuetime helps you track your time. Basically, it'll automatically track your time. You don't have to log in any projects or anything like that. It'll just take catalog of the time you're spending that's productive versus not productive. It'll just give you some visibility into your work hours and what you're looking at on the computer.
You know, the only problem I have with Rescuetime, I used Rescuetime for a while, and the only challenge I had using Rescuetime to manage my time was.
It's not for managing your time.
Well, it's for measuring your time.
Yeah.
It's actually for rescuing your time. You get a report from Rescuetime every Monday that shows you where you spent your time during the week, because the Rescuetime little app that is installed on the Mac, and if you have it installed on multiple devices, it will track where you spend your time. It was telling me that I was not being very productive because I was spending too much time on Facebook. What Rescuetime failed to realise is that I'm a Facebook celebrity.
That's it.
I can't believe I just said that out loud.
Unsponsored.
An unsponsored Facebook celebrity. Yeah. So I have to spend a lot of time on Facebook.
B-grade.
I'm an amateur B-grade Facebook celebrity. And Rescuetime failed to realise that. And so the Rescuetime reports that Rescuetime would email me every Monday morning were incorrect. So I stopped using Rescuetime.
There's a little button that means that you can change from unproductive to productive.
But the truth is,
you just want it to happen automatically.
Well, the truth is, I don't know the time that I'm spending on Facebook, whether it's productive or not. I can't determine. I lose hours of my life.
As a celebrity, you should just assume that it's always productive, right?
That's right. Yeah. What are you doing on Facebook? I'm being productive. I'm working.
Yeah. Going through the Facebook head office was funny, looking at everyone's computer. It's like, well, that makes sense.
They're all on Facebook, are they?
Yeah. Wasting time? Who knows?
They don't ban Facebook from... They don't ban their staff from
maybe
being on
certain
Facebook.
Things.
Do they ban them from being on Google Plus? Or?
Well, yeah, there's a little bit of rivalry going on there. They don't use... well, as far as I know, they don't use Google Drive and Google Documents.
I had a call.
They use Quip.
I had a call with someone from Google once, and I said, should we do this on Skype? And they said, no, that's owned by Microsoft.
Let's spend 40 minutes trying to get Hangouts
We'll do a Google Hangout instead and just be incommunicado the whole time.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. So Rescuetime is your tool of the week.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done. That's good.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm glad somebody thinks about this before we go live.
Yeah. Just a couple of loose notes.
Notes.
Yeah. I know that it's probably going to go a little bit sideways.
It is.
Cool.
Very
Hope
good.
you enjoyed.
This is a long episode, 53 minutes of just rabbiting complete shit, and hopefully some of it's been helpful to you guys. Rob Parmenter has suggested a bit of product placement could look like, you know, just an awkward long swig out of the bottle with the label facing outwards.
Mm-hmm. Delicious. Nice.
Not sponsored by anyone.
Yeah. Work on your label placement. It was good, but
was it?
Yeah.
Could have been a bit more.
Yeah,
well, I didn't know which camera I was on. I didn't know I was on that camera.
Nice
If I was on that
nice
camera,
one.
I would have done it. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't following the tally lights.
Yeah. Facebook doesn't have to ban Google Plus. Nobody wants to use it anyway. Says Robert Simmons.
Tumbleweeds. Hey, this has been fun. If you know anyone who wants to waste a bit of time on a Tuesday morning Sydney time and come and look at us idiots flap our gums about not much, then like us on Facebook or share it with some friends. Tag some people in and say, come and have a look at these clowns. And leave us a comment and tell us what you would like to learn or laugh at on the show here. And seriously, tell us how you feel about sponsorship. We really do want to know how you feel about sponsorship.
If you didn't pick that up, Troy's interested to know how you feel about sponsorship.
Untuck it.
Yeah.
Heineken, Rode,
some Canon,
microphones,
just any other
Canon
brands we got
cameras.
here.
Yep, Canon cameras.
Yep.
Just
Apple.
looking around the room,
Yeah.
seeing what else is going on.
A coffee sponsorship would be
Yeah,
nice.
coffee, clothing sponsorship would be good. Yeah.
Coffee, beer,
Hair
and clothing. That'd be great.
So we hope you're having fun. We look forward to seeing you again next week on the show. And hit us up on YouTube. We post recordings of the show and other how-to videos over there. And also don't forget the podcast, WPElevation.com. You can check out the podcast. We're ramping up. We're using the new microphones on the podcast, so it's sounding a lot better than it has been in the past. And we're bringing some amazing guests, including Alex Price from 93 Digital, who was an incredible interview. I also interviewed Jasmine Andrews recently, one of our success stories in WP Elevation. And I've got an interview today with Matt Johnson from Pursuing Results, who is a podcast production house, and we're actually testing him out on an episode of our podcast to see if they can do all the post-production on our podcast for us. So there we go. Hope you're having as much fun as we clearly are. We will see you next week on the show. Until then, my name is Troy Dean.
And I'm Simon Kelly, and remember, knowledge is power.
And silence is golden.